Thank you for joining us this afternoon. So breaking news, the ECOWAS has declared state of emergency, against insecurity and against political threat across West Africa. Whether of insecurity, Nigerians are doubting whether, if not for Benin coup, whether something like this will happen. And in addition to that, the Senate has approved the president's request to deploy soldiers, troops, into the Republic of Benin. Gentlemen, Nigerians yesterday they were all talking. A lot of people were angry that we could carry out precision strike, on coup plotters, which they don't have problem with. Coup plotters are criminals, you can remove that. But we can't do that on bandits. That's number one. Number two, coup plotters are political criminals. These are internal political criminals. It's not an external aggression. It's not this. It has nothing to do with Nigeria. This is political scores to be settled by Republic of Benin, by Benin people. Even the Communist Party of Benin has said it, and they are terribly angry with Nigeria and France. Clearly, they didn't hide it, that they are angry with Nigeria and France for coming inside their country to determine their politics. But now we have the Senate and the presidency coming under ECOWAS. I'm starting with you. To use ECOWAS as a shade. You can see the letter the president wrote to the Senate about brother, sister country, and other, even trying to mention the principles of collective security, collective self-defense, which, well, the little we know requires 3 states, like what happened in Kuwait. You have Kuwait being invaded by another state, then the third state had to come in. 3 states must exist. But this of Republic of Benin, the coup plotters are not a state. They are internal political criminals. I mean, putting all the superimposed this thing with the freezing of retirement in our military so that we can have sufficient force to attend to the security that we have. Do you think Nigeria is in the best position to do this?
If you ask me, who will I ask?
Who are you going?
Because the thing is so baffling that we have issue at hand to the extent that America had to send a delegation to Nigeria for fact findings, whether what is before them is actually happening or not. This delegation were still here when this issue of Benin Republic is on the burner, at the front burner. Now, the ECOWAS is a regional body, basically for economic purpose.
Economic community of West Africa.
Yes, basically for economic purpose. Yes, to some extent, they could ensure that there is peace.
Could they have a common?
Yes. So, when the situation arises, do we have such situation at hand? The answer is no. Because few days ago, I can't remember vividly if Guinea-Bissau is part of ECOWAS. They had a coup and it was successful. Coup are eternal affair. You may call the plotters criminal if they fail to succeed.
You can say that their government is not legitimate.
If they succeed, they are no longer criminals.
Yes.
So they are the best people in power. So here we are, faced with Benin, who had eternal crisis. The people who come under the umbrella of the military could said they are heeding the cry of the common man on the street of Benin, and that this government is insensitive to the people. The government is non-inclusive, is being managed by few. The government has turned a monarchical government. Democracy is nowhere to be found. That those tenets of the democracy are basically that have been suspended. These are the complaints of the people. In the morning you did mention Olusegun Obasanjo taking a step when could happen in Sao Tome and Principe. He did not send military might to go to Sao Tome and Principe to resolve the issue.
Exactly.
When there were issues, he went as an understand man. He negotiated with both parties. He called all parties. That is democracy. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. What was the issue? Obasanjo went there and he heard from both sides and he resolved it. So here, what are we having? Our president has breached the constitution. He has committed a peaceable offense.
He has gone to Senate and
then after he had committed the act, he now took step to rectify it. I will have a rubber stamp Senate that is already known to the Nigerian that the 10th National Assembly is a rubber stamp assembly, to say that he's seeking approval from the Senate. We are not surprised that the approval has been granted, because it's not the first time. If the same Senate can get to third majority by voice voting, what is
I was even going to come to that. I was even going to come to that. So if you listen to Peter, let me come to you. If you listen to the Communist Party of Republic of Benin, they made a remarkable statement, very unequivocal. They said that this group will happen again if you do declare state of emergency on political and insecurity threats. You declare state of emergency to restore constitutional order. The question we ask, is it constitutional order for people to be silent, to be oppressed? Protest is part of constitutional order. How did our National Assembly realize to third vote in ratifying the state of emergency in Rivers State? Such act is suffocation of democratic principles. So if the restoration of the constitutional order, like the president has made us to know, the people are going to be that restoration of constitutional order across West Africa starts today, glory be to God. You can clap. It means that Nigerians can exercise their right to protest, the right to speak, the right to talk. I keep telling people that the dividends of democracy is not street light.
No, it's
not solar street light. There are solar street light in the countries where you don't have democracy. I mean, the order you have in China is different from the order you have in America, but China has one of the best technologies. So dividend of democracy is ability to exercise your rights in the constitution. Now we begin to ask, this declaration of state of emergency to restore, constitutional order and also ensure that ECOWAS region are not threatened. Does it include the decimation and destruction of bandits? Does it include that Nigerians cannot exercise their freedom? Does it include at the end of bad governance protest that is scheduled for tomorrow to release those and to effectively try those that were charged for end of bad governance protest? It's like a protest to release protesters. Are they going to allow it? Or because if you listen to what the Communist Party said, they say if you continue to suffocate democracy, these coup plotters will come again. Wow. Are they now turning a new leaf?
Then let me start from what the Communist Party said, and which is germane, which we all should take care and listen to them very, very well. Firstly, they were not in support of coup happening. They are Democrats. But what they are saying that Democrats cannot be the one that will destroy democracy. It can't destroy the institution and not allow military to come in. When military come in, they will do with martial law. But under you as a Democrat, you almost practice martial law. If you introduce something that is strange to their constitution, monarchical succession, then where do you expect the opposition to participate? Democracy is a game of all number. Let people come and participate. It's a game of choice. People decide who they want. But then you stifle the whole playground. You stifle it. You've reduced parties to mere rubber stamp. I want people to keep quiet. Questions most people should ask: why do people celebrate when they are military coup? If the democracy has worked, if those who that in charge with our democracy has laid its strife, why will people celebrate it? People celebrate it because they feel like, okay, since you don't want to practice democracy, let's go down that military rule. Which for me, for once, I don't subscribe to that. We are talking about this now in Nigeria because it's not a military rule. Because that if it's a military rule, you don't have a right to discuss it. Because constitution will be suspended, your rights will be suspended. But you, as a Democrat, you shouldn't push us to that. I'm coming again. For this question you asked, Nigerians now have seen that our military, they are not inefficient. If our military could go into Benin and just precision strike, that means that we have, like what America said, the Nigerian government has been complicit in what is happening in Nigeria. We could have ended this thing long ago. That's what it means. And it's not just Nigeria. And for our National Assembly, it's so unfortunate that most of us is a glaring fact that this state assembly is the worst we've had. That everything that comes from presidency, it doesn't get debated. When did Tinubu submit this? Where was the debate? And just not aware. Watch this head.
As a matter of fact, Vanguard reported that within 2 minutes they have conversed, and it was all.
Is that democracy we're standing for? It's not that it's not the same thing you asking for military. Military does not need your approval to do anything. That's something we're practicing here. Our president does not need our input. Those were elected, they don't even have a say in anything that happens. It's not military as you're calling for. So they should not be the one that will invite military tomorrow that you come and say military is taking over.
Okay, the attitude that is being exhibited by politicians is beginning to look like the democracy they are practicing is even more suppressive than the military. Imagine a communist party in Benin who should also be speaking in favor of democracy no matter what is happening, because they also stand a chance of coming to power. They are now saying that if the government doesn't change their ways, that this military will come again. You've seen military democratic presidents acting like dictators, disconnecting the people. Like you said, when there is a takeover, you see people rejoice. People are not supposed to rejoice, because democracy is supposed to be the government of the people, by the people and for the people. So they are supposed to be with the president. So the military will even have no support of coming in. But the reverse is not the case. The people can't talk to the president. Instead of the president to send a representative to where people are demonstrating and talk to them, or even come at yourself if you are well loved and all that, and discuss with them, you prevent the protests. You shut it down. Which even the military, they even used to protest. So how can the people continue to support the resources with their own resources, the kind of democracy that is even becoming worse than the military dictatorship? Is this sustainable? It's not a matter of hiding under ECOWAS or anything. Is this sustainable? The Communist Party of Benin Republic is warning that this will happen again if they don't change their ways. Are they ready to change their ways, or is this sustainable? How long can you suffocate democracy itself and be shouting democracy?
Thank you very, very, very much. You see, when you listen to what the communist spokesman said about what is taking place in Benin that led to the coup that was in point of discussion, it's not far from what we see in Nigeria. Because we cannot devote Benin coup from, or the politics in Benin from what is happening.
If we could separate it, yes, the president will have no basis to even go to National Assembly. Meaning that he believes that it's our turn.
So now, having said that, I will take your mind back to early part of this year, where Mr. President said that he did thrive. What is the communist saying? That when you siphon the opposition, when you gag the opposition, when there is no opposition, there will be no room for other people to operate. What is left is for the people to revolt. I take your mind back to what happened in PDP recent few weeks ago, a week or 2 weeks ago, where Turaki, the elected chairman of PDP, the president national chairman, made a call to the United States of America to come and save our democracy. What does that tell you? Where is it pointing us to? Don't forget, there's a young man in Port Harcourt who called for military takeover. These are the indices showing that what the communist spokesperson is talking about in Benin is already with us here in Nigeria. That is why the president is hiding under ECOWAS to take the action he's taking, because already we are being surrounded by a country ruled by military men, and the military rulers around us could easily influence our military institution. Nobody calls for military rule.
Certainly.
And that's why Peter has said that, look, you as a Democrat, you are in the office, try and practice democracy so that the people will not rejoice tomorrow if the military strike. So the issue here is a call to mind. It's a big call to Mr. President that, look, re-examine yourself, change your ways, allow democratic institution to thrive. For instance, in Nigeria today as we are, this is why the communist spokesperson is speaking in Benin. We don't have any single opposition party without crisis, SDP, PDP, Labour Party, they are all in chaos. And Mr. President is rejoicing over their chaos. At the end of the day, your party is the only party that is remain. Is that the democracy we are talking about? Is Nigeria a one-party state? We are multi-party in nature. So these are the facts. When you put it side by side, you cannot see why the interest of Nigeria is in Benin Republic. If not so, if we have such a standby army, if we have army that we can spare for a standby, for a state of emergency for ECOWAS, what is this army be doing to save us from the hands of terrorists? What army had been doing to save us from the hands of Boko Haram and kidnappers?
All right, let me come to you. Nigerians, how are Nigerians going to take this? In the eyes of all Nigerians who have been struggling with banditry terrorism, I wanted to ask, the president is moving into Benin Republic, so that you need to go and read later. Maybe I could read it, so that our sister company can be saved. Let me read a fraction of it. So the situation is, as reported by the government of Benin, requires urgent external intervention. This fraction forms part of president's letter to the Senate. The distinguished Senate considers the close ties of the brotherhood and friendship which exists between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, as well as principles of collective security upheld within the ECOWAS. They should consider. So if you look at the quote, it said, pursuant to section 55, which we talked about in the morning, of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, which talks about president taking action and getting back to the Senate. It talked about when Nigeria is imminent danger. Now you want to go to Benin to restore order, but our highways, there are no order. In our farms, there are no order. Some of our local governments are under the control of bandits. There are no order. I can't go to the village this Christmas in my home state, Delta State, and be free to go to farm. I can't do that. I won't be able to do that. There are no order. So is the president going to be able to restore order in another country while at home there is actually no order? Peace is also part of democratic norm. Peace is part of constitutional order. Why are Nigerians being not prioritized?
See, the way Nigeria is seen is this way: like a man whose house is on fire, and your house is on fire. You hear that your neighbor is quarreling with his wife, and you leave your house that is on fire, and you're going to settle a quarrel. Nigeria is on fire. Firstly, we're talking about our immunity. The number is not sufficient. We are trying to recruit just few days ago, in order them to recruit about 30,000 more personnel, which has not happened. They're trying to create a impression that we don't have enough personnel to fight this. And the few personnel we have, we want to move them to Benin to go and settle quarrel between husband and wife while the house is on fire. We will not be able to exterminate and neutralize the threat of banditry, insurgency that's happening in Nigeria. Nigerians care less about what's happening in Benin as today, as that crew. Nigerians cares about what is happening here. We can't have our farmers go back to farm. Look at the cost of food in Nigeria. We no longer have farmers at farm. Our children are now in the north. They're no longer going to schools. Most schools in the north are shut down because of these things. If you not address them, Nigerians are more concerned with our internal issues that will not be resolved. Our economy is there. There's so much thing that is bedeviling this government which you're not addressing. And what is the priority to go into Benin?
All right, let me come to you, Philip. Let me read from the statement of the Communist Party of Republic of Benin. They say, however, the December 7 coup attempt is the logical consequence of the disastrous management of the rupture government, characterized by predation, fascist dictatorship, exclusion, and repeated institutional coup d'etat since 2016. The glitch in INEC, where people were not sure that the vote casted was what was announced. Those are the example of institutional coup. You gang up, you hide it like it's a lawful thing to do. Miscarriage of justice in the judiciary, things like the condition America gave to Nigeria, things like convicting somebody who is defending himself. Those are institutional coup. How are we going to eliminate that? Because we don't want coup in Nigeria. We still love we still love our democracy. Hopefully we'll make it a democracy that it should be. How do we guide against this institutional coup that leads to actual coup. Dictatorship, not allowing people to protest, just shut down. Being happy when the position is in disarray. We can turn a new leaf now. It's very close, but at least it's not here. How do we correct it?
You see, if the Nigerian government want to correct itself, it's not a problem. A few days ago, the Nigerian government took a decisive step that we all applauded by appointing a former chief of defense staff as the minister of defense. The whole country were agog for the appointment. As everybody said, everybody hailed the government. And the Senate, for the first time, they did what is expected of them. When a senator from Niger State moved a motion for the man to take a bow and go, he said, no, we need to know whether the man is qualified. Yeah. We expected that for this letter written to them, that they should scrutinize the letter to the extent that to know whether the requirement meet the requirement of the law, which states that if Nigeria is in imminent danger, the president could take an action and then thereafter approach the Senate for approval. The Senate never did that. According to Vanguard newspaper, I said within 2 minutes they convey and they got.
Okay. Let me come to you. When there was coup in Sao Tome and Principe under Obasanjo, he didn't send fighter jets there because himself was practicing democracy. He was an epitome of democracy they could listen to. He flew in there, settled discourse, and constitutional order was restored. Why didn't we use that at the Republic of Benin, particularly when we need our security forces to help up destroy these bandits?
You can only practice what you preach. What are we going to tell them in Benin, if not military? We're not going to tell them that they should restore, they should go back to normal democracy when we don't practice this here. When all our institutions have been captured, state captured, when opposition parties are being hand twisted. So what are you going to tell them there?
What are we going to tell them? We need to practice what we preach. We could have as well gone to Benin Republic, do what Obasanjo did when Sao Tome and Principe struck. He didn't fly any fighting jets there. He just talked to the parties and constitutional order was restored. It could happen in Benin, but it's only when you could preach exactly what you're practicing. We'll be right back.